So we'll find a comfortable seat. Roll the shoulders up and away from the ears. Keeping the chest lifted, we'll drop the nose just a bit toward the floor. Eyes closed or soft. Tuning into the exhale, starting to lengthen out that exhale. The exhale is associated with our parasympathetic nervous system, the calming nervous system in the body. And the inhale is associated with the energizing, the sympathetic nervous system. So every breath, we get a chance to energize both nervous systems. As you focus on the exhale, focus on letting go, softening the body. You can imagine the exhale sweeping out space in the mind and the body, just cleaning the dust out. And then into this space, you can draw the inhale in, this energizing sympathetic nervous system activation. And this brings energy into the body for the places that you might need it. So working with the breath between these two states to balance your energy needs in this moment. A couple more nice full breaths here. And on your next inhale, slowly open the eyes and come back into the space. All right, let's interlace the fingers and take the hands forward, pressing the palms forward, elbows straight. You're going to take the arms up and over the head. Side body's lengthening, sit bones down. Here, we're going to think about lengthening on the right side of the body and tipping over toward the left. Try to keep your arms by your ears. Lengthening out that whole right side, pushing through the right palm. And inhale, we'll come back up to center. So bring the hands down, change the interlace of the fingers. And then we'll push the hands forward, elbows straight, up and over the head. Just holding here in center just for a couple of breaths. And then we'll tip over to the right side and reaching through your left palm. Inhale, we'll come back up to center. Let's release the hands down by the hips, draw the shoulders back and down. We'll lift the center of the chest now up towards the ceiling and start to drop back in a back bend. So maybe your head drops back down if that feels okay on the neck. Maybe the pelvic bone can tip forward, give you more of an arch in the back. Inhale, we'll come on back up to center. Let's come into a Baddha Konasana, soles the feet together and take the knees out toward the side. And then coming forward any amount here. Trying to, again, lead with the chest, trying to keep the spine nice and long and not forcing the knees down. And so they can be at any position here. If you need to move them a little forward, you can. Bring your feet here if you wanted to. And continually using the breath here. So if you're needing a little more release, a little more calming, you can focus on the exhale. If you're needing a little more energy, a little more stimulation in the body, then you can focus on the inhale. Inhale, we'll come on back up. Let's draw the knees together. I'm going to come into hands and knees for a little bit of cat-cow. So hands under your shoulders, knees under the hips. When you're ready, you're coming into cat-cow. Tailbone up, chest up on an inhale. Exhaling, arching the back. Really trying to find the end points of this. So really letting the belly drop on your cow pose and really arching, lifting the center of the back on your cat pose. And the next time that you're in cat pose, that'll be the last one, and then we'll come back to a neutral spine. All right, let's take the right hand under the nose for a twist. On your inhale, we'll take the left hand up toward the ceiling, nice and open. And exhale, we'll slide that hand through to the other side. Full exhale. On an inhale, we'll open. Exhale and reach. Inhale and open. Exhale and through. And inhale and open. And exhale, reach, hold, and breathe. On inhale, we'll come on back to center. And then with the left hand down, on your next inhale, right hand up toward the ceiling. Exhale, reach through the other side. Inhale and open. Exhale and through. Inhale and open. Exhale and reach. And inhale and open. And exhale, reach, hold, and breathe. On inhale, we'll come on back to center. And let's take the hands a little bit forward and bringing the hips forward for a half plank pose. So the shoulders over the hands, broad across the collarbone. Let's tuck the toes of the right foot and push back through your heel, 3/4 plank pose. If you're wanting a little more challenge here, see if you can lift those toes off the mat, the right toes off the mat, just a little bit, just pushing back through your heel, keeping that leg super straight, keeping the hips still in line and the shoulders still over the hands. And then we'll bring that knee down, coming back into our half plank pose. And we'll come to the other side. So just starting with pushing through your left heel, straightening out that knee nice and straight. And then if you want a little more, so if you can lift that left foot off the mat without compromising the rest of the posture. So making sure your shoulders are still over the hands, abdominals are still supporting, broad across the collarbone. And then we'll bring that knee down, coming back into our half plank pose. Elbows in close, we'll lower all the way down to the floor. Let's come on up into Sphinx pose. So we'll bring the elbows underneath of the shoulders, hands about shoulder width apart on the floor. Tailbone down toward the floor, shoulders draw down toward the hips. We'll open the front of the body, opening the neck, the chest, maybe looking up toward the ceiling. And if you want a little more here, you can really spread your fingers wide, push into your hands, and start to lift your elbows off of the mat. You might even come up to straight elbows. But if you do that, just make sure your shoulders don't come up to your ears. And still try to keep them down the back, still opening the front line of the body. And then if your elbows are up, we'll bring them back down on the floor. And then slip your hands back by your shoulders. And the elbows in, I'm gonna push up to that half plank pose. And then we'll bring the hips back toward the feet, coming into prayer pose, reaching through the arms. And on the inhale, we'll come on back to the hands and knees position. I'm going to come into a pigeon pose. You're going to take your, let's do left knee up to your left hand. So you can bring your left knee all the way up toward your left hand. You're going to rotate at the hip to try to bring your left foot closer to your right hand. And the more you can do that, the more you'll get a triangle shape, and that'll be easier for balance. And then tuck your toes of your back foot, your right foot, and separate your knees. So just lifting the knee up off the mat, sliding it back and setting it down. So here you'll start to feel the hips drop down toward the floor. And you want to be able to bend your back knee and not pop the kneecaps. So make sure you're in a place that feels okay there. Once you've found that, you can soften the right foot. Now from here, let's come down into sleeping pigeon. So you're going to come down onto your arms, onto the floor. Try to keep your hips level with the floor. So if they're sinking onto one side or the other, you're going to try to think about level, although elevated. So they're probably not on the floor, although they could be. They're probably hovering above some amount. You just want to try to keep it same on left side and right side. And your head might drop down onto your hands or your forearms. You can soften the upper body as much as you like. But try to keep some tone in the legs. So if you think about from each knee pulling in toward your core, just enough to support the joints. So it's not overworking, but it's also not just completely sinking in to that joint. Just breathing here. On inhale, we'll come on back up onto the hands. You can tuck the toes of the back foot and bring your knee in slightly, and then that will help you to release back to hands and knees position. Now we're going to take that left leg straight back behind. See if you can press through your heel and make that leg long. And we're just going to lift that foot off the mat in line with the hips and the shoulders. It's going to release that hip flexor on that side. And then we'll bring the left knee back down to the mat. I'm going to work our way into the other side. So you're going to take your right knee up to your right hand. And then rotating at the hip, swing your left foot somewhat close to your left, or your right foot to your left hand. And then tuck the toes of your left foot so that you can separate the knees before you set that leg down. And somewhere not on the kneecap there. And then from here, once you found that, you can come on down onto your arms or hands, maybe bringing the head down, softening the upper body, but keeping that tone between the knees, drawing into the core, supporting the joints. And keeping your hips level as much as you can with the floor. And then on inhale, we'll come back up onto the hands. Tucking the toes of your back foot to slide that knee in just a bit, enough to come back to hands and knees. And then we will extend back through the right heel, so lengthening out that leg. Really just lift that foot in line with the hips and then release the hip flexor. And then we'll bring the knee down, coming back into hands and knees. All right, I'm gonna try walking the hands forward here, just a little bit, maybe 4 or 5 inches. Spread the fingers wide, hip distance apart here. Tuck your toes, and we're gonna come up just a very brief downward facing dog. So I'm gonna start to straighten your arms, lifting the hips. Take maybe a half a breath here. And then we're going to walk the hands and feet toward each other, coming into Uttanasana, standing forward bend. And if you need to bend your knees to get there, that's great. If you need to be on your fingertips, that's fine. If you need to bring your hands up onto your shins, that works too. Uttanasana, standing forward bend. So legs are toned, lifting the hips up toward the ceiling, upper body softens. Down over that. If you want, you could release your hands around your legs and starting to pull in, just if you want that little bit extra. You'll release the hands and take a slight bend to the knees, and coming up ragdoll style, we'll draw the abdominals in and roll your way up to standing. Keep breathing as you come up. Good. Once you're standing, we'll come into Tadasana, mountain pose. Connecting with the feet on the floor and the feeling of the breath in the body. And finding your balance. Standing here, balancing on 2 feet. Finding that plumb line, the center line of the body, front, back, left, right. From here, we'll take the arms up and over the head. Palms together across the thumbs, crescent pose to the right. As you drop down, push into that left foot so you can really lengthen that whole side body. Inhale, we'll come back up to center. You can change the cross of the thumbs. And let's come to the other side, crescent pose. Remembering you can always use the breath. So if you're needing more energy, focusing on the inhale, and if you're needing more release, more relaxation, focus on the exhale. On the inhale, we'll come back up to center and release the hands. Let's come into a warrior one. Right foot forward, left foot back. Virabhadrasana 1. We'll square the hips toward what's in front. Right foot is forward, bending that right knee over the ankle. Tailbone down toward the floor so you can get your back heel down, back leg straight. We'll take the arms up and over the head. Warrior 1. Connecting with the feet, finding balance between the 2 feet, both feet pushing into the floor evenly. Toning the muscles of the legs, but trying to not overwork. So see if you can find the balance between effort and ease. From here, we'll bring the palms together at the center of the heart, shoulders back. We're going to root into your back foot and lean forward. Keep your legs where they are. We're going to twist around, revolve side angle pose. Turning the chest toward the right. Again, try to keep your feet evenly rooting into the floor. Try to keep tone in the legs. Pushing as you need to into your back foot to balance the weight from the front foot. On an inhale, we're going to come on back to center. One, warrior 1 here, arms up. And then release the hands to the hips. We're going to switch sides. So you'll step your back foot forward and your front foot back. Coming to the other side for a warrior 1. Squaring the hips to what's in front. Bend your left knee now over your ankle. Back leg straight, back heel down as much as you can. Tailbone straight down between the feet. When you found all of that, we'll take the arms up. Warrior 1 on this side. So warrior poses are some of the stronger postures. So we tone the muscles of the legs, we support the body with that kapha, earth energy. But you can't be rigid. If you think if we're too rigid, then the air is going to, that vata energy is going to have us topple over. So finding the flexibility, the softness in the posture, that's the challenge here, finding that balance between effort and ease. That flexibility is going to allow you to maintain the balance needed in the posture. And then we'll bring the palms together at the center of the heart. Now the legs stay strong, rooting into your back foot. We're going to lean forward and then twist around the spine for your revolved triangle pose. Try to not swing the hips. They stay where they are. Rooting into that back leg, strong back leg, and twisting. Keeping the breath moving, even though the belly is turning here, keeping the breath flowing. And on the inhale, we're going to come back to our warrior one. We're breaths here. Yeah, and then we'll release and set the feet together. Good work. I'm going to come into triangle pose, Trikonasana. So if you want to use a block, you can. I'm just going to start with the right foot forward, and if you're using a block, it's by the right foot. For triangle pose, right foot forward, outside edge, pinky toe side of that foot lines up with the long side of the mat. Big step back on your left foot, and the feet are in a line, roughly. Hips are also in the same line. And take the arms out here. When you're ready, reach the right fingertips, hinge at the hips, drop on down, triangle pose. So if you're using a block, it'll be behind your foot. If you're not using a block, you can use your shin here as well. And as much as you can, you're going to try to think about that underside of the body lengthening. So right hip to right shoulder, rather than curling down, we're lengthening out. And then toning the muscles around the right knee. You're going to bend that knee and come on up for warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. So left leg is straight, right knee is bent, shoulders over the hips. A strong pose. From here, let's do a little bit of circling. I'm going to start circling the hands. Now, if this becomes too strong on your shoulders, just bring your hands to your shoulders and work your elbows. But you can imagine that you have little tiny hula hoops on your wrists. We're just trying to circle here, not overworking, just finding a range of motion that feels good in the shoulders. And then we'll stop our hula hooping here. We'll bend the right elbow, take the forearm to your thigh. Draw that left shoulder way back and then take that left hand now over your head. Extended side angle pose. And you can bend your right knee perhaps a little more, which is going to drop your hips toward the floor. Root into that left foot. That's where you got the extension all the way through the whole side of the body, from foot all the way out through the fingers. And then on inhale, I'm going to come on back up, warrior two. Good work. Release the arms, straighten the legs, put the feet together, maybe shake it out a little. Whew. All right, I'm going to work our way to the other side for Trikonasana triangle on the left side. So we're taking left foot forward, pinky toe side, lining up with the long side of your mat. Big step back on the right foot. Both legs straight, hips in line with the feet. When you're ready, arms out, reach to the left, fingertips come on down, Trikonasana triangle pose. Stacking the shoulders, opening the chest, breathing. Just remembering, we can always come back to what do I need more of, or what do I need to let go of? And using the parts of the breath to help the body. All right, we're going to work our way into warrior two. Bend that front knee after toning the muscles around the knee. Or come on up here. Shoulders over the hips. Knee over your front ankle. Good. And then if you recall which direction you went last time, you might try going the other direction. If you don't remember, it doesn't matter. Just making small circles like you had little tiny hula hoops on your wrists. There could be any speed here. Just feeling into the shoulders. And then coming back to center, we're going to bend your left arm, forearm to the thigh, extended side angle pose. You can drop your hips toward the floor, draw that right shoulder way back, and that hand all the way up and over the head. So here you're connecting right foot all the way through the whole right side of the body out through the fingertips. And on inhale, come on back up, warrior two. And release the arms, and you can step the feet together. All right, we're going to work our way back down to the floor. And we're going to work on Gomukhasana, cow face pose. So have a strap. And we're going to start sitting in staff pose. So in staff pose, the legs are straight, toes are up toward the ceiling, hands are down by the hips, and nice and tall here. So from here, I'm going to take the right leg, I'm going to bend the knee and see if you can stack your right knee on top of your left as much as you can. So it's a pretty tight stacking here. And the right foot then is going to start to come back towards your hip for some amount. Now you could stay here in half Gomukhasana, or if you want, you could try bringing your other foot in as well, in which case you want to make sure that your sit bones are still down. So if you're way up sideways when that foot comes in and you can't get the sit bone down, then just come back to the half one. We want both sit bones down. Yeah, but if you've got both feet back by your hips and the sit bones are still down, that works too. That's great. So from here, the leg is on top as the arm is going to come up over your head. So that's the hand you're going to use for your strap. And we're going to take that strap up and over the head and then have it come down your back, down the center of the back. And we'll take your other arm out and then full rotation into the shoulder, thumb toward the floor. Bend your elbow, find the other end of your strap, and start to walk your hands toward each other, any amount here, until you feel a tightness in the strap, a pulling in the strap. And then from here, you're going to draw both shoulders back. So the lower shoulder is going straight back, and your elbow is coming straight back behind your head. Good, yeah. As much as you can, try to open the chest, relax the neck. I always thought this should be called scratch your own back pose. And it's like, if you keep practicing this, there won't be a part of your body that you can't reach. And so you'll always be able to get those spaces, scratch your own back, without having to rely on someone else to do that. All right, we're going to go ahead and release that. Roll the shoulders, release the legs on that side. We're going to work into the other side. So with both legs straight, we'll bend the left knee now. Try to stack the left knee on top of the right as much as you can and bring that foot as close to your hip as you can. Coming in the other side. And then if you're doing the lower leg too, you're going to draw it back. Just try to get both sit bones down as much as you can. All right, when you're ready, the leg is on top. That's the arm that's going over your head. So finding your strap, taking that strap in the hand. Take the arm up and over the head, bend your elbow, and bring your strap down as low as you can in the center of your back. And then when you take your other hand out, thumb toward the floor, bend the elbow, find your strap. And then walking the hands toward each other so you have some tension on the strap. We're going to start to draw both shoulders back as much as you can. Try to open the chest, keep the neck soft, face soft, connecting with whichever part of your breath you need. If you need more energy, inhale. If you need more release, exhale. All right, we'll go ahead and release. Set that aside. You can release the legs. I'm going to come on down onto the back. Knees bent, feet on the floor. Just bringing your hands to the belly, breathing into the belly. Just kind of checking in with the body, with the breath. how you're doing right now. So if you still have your strap close by, you can go ahead and grab your strap. Let's do this. I don't think we've done this one. So around here, you're going to slip your strap around the front side of both ankles. So it's the front of the foot. Just bring your feet back to the mat. And you've got one end of the strap in each hand. I'm going to walk your feet in fairly close to the hips, but enough that you can still keep your heels down. So you want to keep the heels down, feet in close. I'm going to walk your hands as close to your feet as you can along your strap. So I'm going to start to feel your elbows are straightening and there's some tension here on the strap. Feet on the floor. Now draw your shoulders down toward the floor. You might even lift up a little and draw your shoulder blades together on your back. So you'll feel kind of flat upper back. And the tops of the shoulders want to start to roll down toward the floor and lift the chest a little bit toward the ceiling. So you feel some lifting there. And you might find you can walk your hands a little bit closer to your feet. And then now from here, tone the muscles of your legs. Push in your feet and start to lift your hips toward the ceiling. So as you do that, your chest is going to start to come more towards your chin. You can pull on your strap. You can draw your shoulder blades together more. Tops the shoulders, roll down, really starting to arch the back in this version of bridge pose. Remembering the legs are your strength, so toning the muscles of the legs, pushing into the feet, maybe lifting a little bit higher. Breathing uphill into the belly. And then we'll slowly lower the hips back down to the mat and release your strap. And we'll draw the knees into the chest. I'm just going to rock side to side. And then I'm going to take your feet up and over your head. And for here, you could also use your strap again if you'd like. Taking your feet into the strap and starting to pull them over your head. But you may not need your strap, and you can just grab a hold of your feet with your hands. That works too. Try to keep the hip bones down on the floor. Legs are straight as they'll go. And starting to pull your feet by your head. As you do that, the belly and the thighs might come into contact. We're going to keep your left foot right where it is and slip your right foot out of the strap. And we're going to lower the right leg down onto the floor, pressing through your heel. Nice and controlled, coming into scissor legs. And then taking both straps into the right hand or holding your left foot with your right hand. We're going to come into the twist. So you're going to roll onto your right hip and drop your left foot down, maybe all the way to the floor. And your hand can come as close as it can to your foot along the strap. And then we're going to really open and twist here, dropping the left shoulder back down to the floor, opening the chest. On an inhale, we're going to roll on back to center. We're going to switch feet. So we'll bring the right foot into the strap and release your left leg down to the mat, nice and controlled. You're going to start to pull the right foot over your head. So really getting hamstring stretch here. And then we're going to hold those straps in the left hand as close to your foot as you can. We're going to roll onto the left side, bringing that right foot perhaps all the way to the floor. And then you might walk your hand a little closer to your foot here. And then drop your right shoulder down, opening the chest. And a nice twist. On inhale, we'll come on back to center. You can release your strap and bring your feet back down to the floor. You're going to close your eyes here and really sense into the body. If there's any other movement or posture that you want before Shavasana, just move and do what the body is wanting here. If the body's not giving you any signals, but you can work your way into Shavasana. I'm just taking a breath or two or three to sense what is it that my body needs. And then as you're ready, you can work your way into that Shavasana, corpse pose, and allow the body to completely soften. And also trying to allow the mind to soften as well. Tuning into that, the breath, the qualities of the breath, particularly the exhale. And using that focus and that attention or intention and attention to releasing and letting go and softening. Noticing the flow of the breath in the body. Notice what other signals you have from your being, your nervous system, perhaps your muscles. What's your body telling you? And then you can bring some movement back into the body. And as you're ready, work your way to a seated position. Hands together at the heart. Thank you for joining. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy autumn. And I will see you in the next class. Namaste.